Well, obviously a big game Saturday night in Logan. Utah State, I think, was going to be tough, and I think they're going to be angry and tough because of what happened in Vegas. When you're picked near the top or at the top, you see everybody's best effort, and that's what they saw last night at UNLV. So they will make the adjustments. They will play inspired basketball. They're well coached. They're tough, and they're defending champions. So we'll see that kind of team in Logan on Saturday night in front of maybe one of the best environments that we'll play in front of all year. Our team was great to win against Fresno. We played really good defense for the most part. Our rebounding was not what it needed to be. We needed to finish possessions with a rebound, but that's something we continue to work on every day. And it feels great to be 14-0. And number one in the net, in the 13 in the poll, 12, 13 in the polls, and playing really good basketball. So now we have to make the adjustments to what we feel Utah State's going to try to do against us, both offensively and defensively. Every game has its own identity. And so we'll spend the next 2 days getting ready to put a game plan together that we think will give us the best chance to win in Logan against a very good team.
They're 8-0 here at home. They've always had a tough barn to play in up there. What makes it so difficult? Is it altitude? Is it atmosphere? Is it they just have a good club?
Yeah, it's a combination of all three. They're very talented. They returned the majority of a team that won the conference last year, won the conference tournament, and was ranked in the top 15 to start the year. They're a little bit injured with Keita, who was the Defensive Player of the Year, out. I've heard through the grapevine that he will probably be in the game against us, and he adds a dimension of shot blocking that good defensive teams need to have. Their atmosphere is crazy. I'm halfway happy the students aren't in school right now, but I think those seats like we have, our students aren't in session. We had the building sold out for a noon game on New Year's Day. So I think it'll be the same thing there. I think they'll have a full house. They'll be raucous, and it will be one of the best atmospheres anywhere in the country for a Saturday game.
You've been able to win different ways. You win in shootouts just by simply outgunning the other team, by defensively shutting people down. Is it a matter of you just are a very versatile ball club right now, or do you have a different game plan depending on who you're going to be attacking specifically, and you can attack people different ways?
Every game is different in the fact we know Fresno's been struggling to win, but we know they're a very good defensive team, so points were hard to come by for both teams. And we just made enough plays, spurted enough, made enough out-of-timeout plays, dead ball plays where we had great success. And we put a play or two in, and in a game like that, we put a play in that we scored 5 points on that we put in just the day before. And so sometimes it's adding one play that the team hasn't seen that you think you can have success with. And we'll do that for Utah State. We've got something in mind we're going to try that will be something they haven't seen that hopefully we'll have some success with. But that's every game, not trying to change everything you do, but to add one component that might give you a better chance to win. It's only a possession or two every game at this point. So try to put a play in or something that'll help us with that one or two extra possessions.
Does UNLV beating Utah last night help or hinder your guys' cause?
It helps us probably, you would think, for a conference championship. But for an at-large bid, they went from 38 in the net to 73. Utah State did. So instead of number one in the net playing number 38, it's number one playing 73. So all that makes a difference. With that being said, the way UNLV looked, they're planning on playing for a conference championship. They're 2-0, and they look fantastic. So TJ's done a great job getting them on the same page, improving their team. And that's the thing to college basketball. Whatever team you might see in November and December, the good ones, the good coaches, the good kids, they get better. And so the UNLV team they saw is not the UNLV team from November. They're getting better. And so that's the case in conference play. Unfortunately, some of our conference teams didn't get to build high enough resumes and get their rankings high enough. So at the end of the year, they might be a top 100 team in their style of playing the way they're playing, but because of what happened in November and December, they're out of that possibility of getting there. And so that's why I thought we scheduled well and played well in November, December. So we've got that ranking that hopefully we can maintain in a conference that's full of landmines at this point. I thought, UNLV was struggling, and it was documented in the paper. TJ came out and ran at his own team very hard. And so you get to do that maybe once a year, and you hope to get the response he got. They are playing really hard, really inspired, and they're playing at home. The home teams in the Mountain West all won yesterday. So winning road games in college basketball is extremely tough. San Jose beats a very good New Mexico team, 13-2. UNLV beats a Utah State team that's 13-2. Both home wins. Boise wins at home, we win at home. So in any conference you're in, winning a road game is the ultimate challenge, and all the teams on the road found that out. Basically, it felt like opening weekend, but the third games of the conference season.
Mountain West Championship game last year, you guys fell to Utah State. Is there any sort of revenge or unfinished business you're trying to get?
We have kind of a new team. So, we have a couple members that are back that played in that game, but we have a lot of new pieces. And so the nice thing is, when we don't have success last year, they're quick to point out, hey, we're not last year's team. And even the returning players, it's a different chemistry, it's a different feel about this team. And that's nothing against last year's team, but this is a new team with a new mentality, and they don't dwell a lot on what happened last year.
Has Malachi established himself as it's a close game, they're under 2 minutes, that's the guy who's going to make sure he touches the ball?
Well, that's on me, and that's also on him. But, yeah, I'd like the ball in his hands with the game on the line. And that's not to take away from the other good players I got, but a guy that's 3-1 assist to turnovers, that's the guy you want to have the ball. Because if he can't get a shot, like the end of the first half, he could have easily shot the ball with a 5-second length of the floor play. But he threw it to Trey Pulliam, who's wide open in the corner, and Trey missed the shot. But Malachi showed in that instant he's not afraid to get a guy a great shot at the expense of shooting a harder one on his own. So that's the guy you usually want with the ball.
Coach, a lot of fans are kind of bummed that many of your games aren't on TV. Have you or anybody from Sdsu talked to the conference about maybe trying to get more TV exposure?
You mean fans my age that can't get on their phones and get online? My dad is 86, and he watches every game we play from Minneapolis. So you just have to find a way to get online to Stadium or Facebook, and the games are available. So they're not as convenient if you're channel surfing and you don't know what game to watch, and all of a sudden you say, hey, there's the Aztecs, I want to watch it. If you're an Aztec fan and you want to see the game, you'll find a way to get it where you can see the game live. And I love the commentators, Jeff Goodman and Doug Gottlieb. Those guys are great. So it's a great crew doing the game. And if you want to see the Aztecs, you can find the Aztecs and watch it live.
And I don't even know if it's possible, but if you were able to change dates or times to be on TV, is that something you'd be willing to do?
I don't like the late game starts. I mean, an 8 o'clock start is late. And we've got a couple of those, I think, this year. We're 8 o'clock Mountain Time at Utah State, and I think that's harder on the fans. I think 7 o'clock's the ideal start time. That people can get done with work and get to the game. 8's a little late, so, but we don't control that. If we did, we'd probably start most games at 7.
What's the difference in your team with and without Nathan? When you take Nathan out, what happens to your team, and how do you have to adjust?
I mean, you look at the points and stuff like that, and you say, well, it's not a big loss, because most fans look at points. But Nathan's a defensive presence, so he's the shot blocker, he deflects. In his last game against Cal Poly, he takes 2 charges, he blocks a bunch of shots. And so his defensive presence, really good teams, really good defensive teams have someone sitting on the back line that's a shot blocker. Now, Yanni and Nolan and Joel are all very good help defenders, but they don't have a 7'5" wingspan. They're in the same spot, but that extra length makes Nathan a integral part of our defense. So, and the same with AG. We're missing AG. He's got great length. So we're missing 2 players where you look and you say, well, they're only losing 6-8 points a game. But maybe we're not able to prevent 10 or 12 points a game because they're out there. So hopefully we got AG on the pathway to getting back. He's shooting. He's on the floor running. No contact yet. So whether it's a week, 2 weeks, I don't know what it'll be. I'm hopefully to get him back at some point. Nathan, obviously, still waiting to see whatever doctors he needs to see to kind of get a prognosis on what direction we'll go with him.
In terms of Utah State, would you rather be playing them coming off a big win or a bad loss like this?
Yeah, well, coming off, I know what they're going to be off the loss. And you just have to read Craig's comments in the paper. We got out tough. We got out coached. You know, we got a slice of humble pie. If I talk to my team like that, I think I know what kind of team I'd see the very next game. So I know what we're going to see. So it's not going to be a surprise, and we will make that known to our kids. A game that was going to be competitive is going to be even more physical and competitive than it might have been. You know, it's just rebounding alone. They're second in the country in rebounding, the plus 12, and they got out rebounded by 12. So you know what kind of rebounding effort we're going to see against them. It's going to be a madhouse on the floor and in the stands.
You and Auburn have the last known remaining unbeaten. Are you familiar with the map that's kind of been
Yes.
floating around? Do you kind of look at that and chuckle, use it as motivation? Is it one of those kind of afterthought things the fans look at?
It's great graphically. And I mean, there's how many Division I teams? 353, and we're one of two left undefeated. So it's a great feeling. And it's easy for the prognosticators to say, well, we're looking at the schedule, and if they get by Utah State, they got a chance of going undefeated. Are they kidding me? Are they not watching college basketball? Every day there's someone that's supposed to win that gets beat. So we're enjoying the heck out of it while we're undefeated. But we know every time we step on the floor, anything can happen. It's college basketball.
You have a relationship with Bruce at all over there? You guys have talked about who's going to stick around longer with a zero in the loss column?
No, I know Bruce well, but I have not talked to him at all about that. So we all have our challenges, and, you know, as coaches think we're one game away from continuing the streak or one game away from fearing we're on a 2-game losing streak. So that's college basketball, and like I said, every game is a challenge.